cool, I'm inside hitting your bitch with combos like it's Tekken. Only thing that leave is your...
Here's the tweet. 72 win streak in Japan ranked with modern Chun-Li. I said it several times, but Japan is seriously exploring modern compared to the West. I think modern is good for casuals, and Japan is trying to discover whether or not it's good for competitive. And the West, the Americans, their unwillingness to even give it an opportunity because the stigma it's for casuals is a very weird mindset to have when there's $1 million on the line. Before we fully step into the next generation of fighting games, I thought it would be interesting to look at which fighting games right now is the top 10 best-selling of all time. But you have Mortal Kombat 11, which is considered one of the worst Mortal Kombats ever made. It's the best-selling ever made. 15 million, it takes number 4. Tekken 7 is 10 million. It takes 7th place. Can Tekken 8 replicate the success that Tekken 7 achieved? I don't know, but Harada and Michael Murray are trying oh so desperately to make that a reality. People say Tekken 8 feels just like Tekken 7 with heat. This statistic is exactly why that is. Fight! Focusing more on Tekken 7, the actual usage data for the characters. This released 1 year ago, but this is the last usage data that has been released so far. This is unofficial, but it still gives us a very specific and precise look at where every character follows. I won't go through the list, but I think you guys should definitely take a look at this. We all have our requests for what characters should return and should not return, and this list can give you a good understanding of how likely that is. Now, do keep in mind, Harada said in the past that not everything is decided by player usage. Sometimes they decide a character based on story, fighting style, ethnicity. All these different factors also play a role, but usage definitely plays a role for some of the more obscure characters.
Oh my god, I am so excited for Lily, her thighs, her cheeks, her feet. Oh my god, the cap. Woo!
Now let's shift the topic to Twitter. There's a lot of interesting things happening in the Tekken world for Twitter. For example, Cuddlecore and Yu has been signed to Cloud9. We just heard about FaZe Clan signing Joan Fury and HK Jr. Cuddlecore is double signed.
And you can hear the crowd right now. I don't know if y'all can hear it, but they are turning up right now for Cuddle. And she's like, period!
This is just the power of a successful game. A different discussion that was also taking place on Twitter is whether or not Tekken 7 should get one final update. Now, some people say yes, some people say no. I say yes. First off, they already said they were working on the netcode, so I hope they continue it sooner rather than later. If we try to return to play Tekken 7 5 years from now, the nostalgia hit us and we want to feel the rage drive just one more time, the netcode is going to be so bad to where that's impossible. You're watching Tekken Tag Tournament 2 gameplay. This is that nostalgia that I'm talking about. But the content creators, at least some of them, when they were talking about one last update, it was more so related to a balance patch. Now, I have no care in the world for nerfing Fang, Akuma, Zafina. I have absolutely no care in the world for that because the last updates that they did was so minuscule. 5.0, they barely did anything to characters. So if they did another update, why would it be something massive? It would probably be some small, insignificant update that changed no characters at all. Probably just a Fang nerf, and who cares about that? There's also a very interesting tweet from Harada that resurfaced. 2017, someone asked him, why does Alyssa even has breast bounce physics? Isn't her torso plastic? And Harada basically says they serve as shock absorbers. That Dr. Baskinovich and his engineering. He's a genius. Arslan Ash went into very in-depth detail about why they have to claim Pakistan is the best region in the world because they're from Pakistan. Pakistan doesn't have the same opportunities as everywhere else. If you want a visa, you can get it within 1 week. Pakistan, it takes them 6 months to get a visa. That's just one thing that Arslan points out in here. This tweet really just shows how personal it is for them. When they say we are the best, it's not about ego or any of that. It's about changing the world view of Pakistan. It's not about 2D, Akuma, Feng Wei. And it shows because when they go to the tournament, they mean business. They're not playing games. And that's why I really love this tweet from Arslan Ash because it shows us the bigger picture that often is missed. It was also announced that Tekken 8 will be playable at Evo. We know there's going to be a massive reveal there because if you think about last year, that's where they originally teased Tekken 8. So if they're teasing Tekken 8 last year, this year, you know they're going to come back swinging. I do want to say this though. I know there's going to be a lot of people who are expecting a release date at Evo. And I want to say that that is not likely. It's not going to happen. Evo is not big enough. And when I say that, I know people lose their mind. How is it not big enough? This is the biggest fighting game event of the year. Think in your mind, how many viewers is watching Evo? Even still, that does not compare to where Street Fighter 6 showed their release date, their pre-orders, was Game Awards. The viewership for that was 103 million. So what they show at Evo, I think will be totally different, but still just as exciting.